Hey friends, welcome back to Hot News. It's Friday, I'm ready to go. I don't know if you can tell, but before we jump into it, today's episode of Hot News is brought to you by UFD Deals, which is our very website, which if you check it out in the link in the video description, you can find sale prices on tech goods that are going around on the internet. We try to compile them in all one co-located area so that you can just click on the link, it gives us an affiliate kickback, and then you get to save money on the purchase. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just a nice little service that we try to provide you with our website. So check out UFD Deals, link in the video description if you're trying to pick up cheaper memory, graphics cards, CPUs, games, whatever. It's down there. Check it out. Anyways, moving on. Hot news time. Let's go. First up, let's talk about Elon Musk. He's in the news because of a thing that he did on Twitter a little while ago, saying that he was considering taking Tesla private once it hit $420 with their stock. And then a little while later, he announced to shareholders that funding had been secured for taking the company private, which means buying out all of the shareholders. And apparently, it turns out that that never really happened while he was in talks with a Saudi and Arabian entity to actually purchase Tesla. The deal was never finalized, funding was never secured, and it was just kind of an optimistic statement on his part. But the SEC doesn't seem to take kindly to optimism that is aimed at shareholders because they consider it lying. So the SEC is suing Elon Musk and potentially trying to ban him from being able to hold officer or director positions at publicly traded companies in the future because they consider this a gross negligence of him just tweeting things out that affect the shareholders without actually having substance behind it, and saying that it could cause market chaos and harm Tesla investors, which isn't an unfair statement. I'm not sure about the legal proceedings that go behind it. I'm sure there's a complicated set of rules here. But Elon Musk in a lot of hot water lately. Some of it's justified, some of it's not. We have news that Sony finally caved from their stupid ways and now is allowing crossplay for Fortnite on their console. In case you don't remember, they absolutely refused to do it because they stated that the PlayStation was the best gaming experience for end users. And they just wouldn't allow people to crossplay on Fortnite or even use their Epic Games account, which with all of their data and levels up and all of that kind of stuff on another platform because they just wanted to lock it down to that. But it appears that they're testing crossplay beta right now, and we'll see it come to general users a little bit later down the line. All I know is that I can't wait to wreck some console plebs playing Fortnite. Except for I'm not going to play Fortnite. I'm talking about Reece. Reece is going to play Fortnite, but he's on a console. So none of this matters. It's just, yeah, Sony's not being a turd anymore. Then we have news about RAM prices, which feels like we have news about RAM prices every week, and it's always conflicting and different. But DRAM Exchange is saying that they're expecting that DDR4 DRAM could go down by as much as 5% by the end of the year, but 5% off a whole heck of a lot is still a whole heck of a lot of money. I'm sorry, but saving 5% on a $300 set of RAM that I should only be paying $150 for doesn't really help my pocket do much. So good news if it happens, but these speculatory price fluctuations are just, they're disheartening to continue to watch and listen to, and we just want proper RAM prices. But DRAM Exchange, who actually tracks these things, saying it could go down. Let's see if that happens. We'll keep you updated. If you want to really be kept updated, check out UFD Deals because we post RAM deals there. So that would make sense. And then the cutest little bit of news that you're probably going to see today, an injured turtle rolls through recovery with a Lego wheelchair. Yes, somebody fashioned an entire wheelchair for this little turtle right here at the Maryland Zoo made out of Legos. That's pretty cool. I like it. You could just check little scooting around with the Legos. I'm gonna name him Scoot. I'm sure he has a name. I don't care. He's now Scoot. Speaking of turtles, Turtle Beach makes headsets, and then Razer makes headsets. That's connected somehow. So Razer is bringing out their Nari Ultimate THX surround sound and haptic feedback headset, which, yes, you heard me correctly, it has haptic feedback. So the idea is that it has vibration motors that try to tingle your ears physically so that when you're playing games, you can hear where your enemies are located, where gunshots are coming from, all of that kind of stuff. It sounds neat. Whoa, I will have to wait until I can touch these myself and feel them on my ears to see if they're actually any good. But there's going to be 3 versions at launch. The Ultimate packs all of the features, going for $200. The standard one, which drops the haptic feedback, would be $150. And then the Nari that has nothing besides the core features in THX audio would cost $100. $200 to feel something tingle on my ears. I'd rather just have Reece tickle me there. I don't know. You know, you weren't supposed to actually do it. I was expecting it. I thought you were going to say no. There's somebody behind me. Speaking of unnecessary features, the LG V40 just got teased, and it has 5 cameras, 3 on the back, 2 on the front. I say it's not enough. I say we need at least 5 on the back so that we can see like spiders. Seriously, I don't get LG sometimes. They make decent phones, but they also chase gimmicks like it's nobody's business. Like it's going out of style to just do things that nobody else is thinking is cool anymore. It doesn't look like they're gonna have a notch, so that's valuable. It looks like it's just gonna be the standard bezel right there. So thank you for not following that trend, but LG, my friends, the G5 still rings hauntingly in my ears about how much the gimmicks just don't work for you guys. Please, please LG. The V20, the V30 were great phones. Why you do this? But then in better phone news, but worse phone news, Red, who's making the cameras that are super awesome with 8K and all that kind of stuff, they are also making a mobile phone that was announced in what, 2016, was it? A while ago. And it appears that their titanium line of the Hydrogen One phone that they announced is going to be delayed by quite a bit. However, Red is not seeing fit to let customers just go without the phone. So in October, they will be giving everybody who purchased a titanium Red Hydrogen One for free. They will get one of the Red Hydrogen One aluminum phones, which is great. And then they'll ship out the titaniums whenever they're finished. But then you ask, well, do they have to send the aluminum ones back? The answer is no. They get to keep both phones, which is something that you just don't see from companies very often, which they're making mistakes, they're not delivering on their pre-orders, and they're making good by giving somebody a phone. It's not gonna be the highest quality of what they'll promise, but then they get to keep it afterwards. In considering the fact that the aluminum one goes for $1,300 and the titanium one goes for $1,600, they're scoring a whole lot of free money there, although it could drop the value of the aluminum ones on the open market, so it makes it worth less. But we'll have to see how it goes. I'm okay with Red making this move. There's a production issue. They're actually trying to satisfy customers with that. Well done. Speaking of really expensive things, that segue doesn't work. Speaking of, I don't know, just segues don't matter here. Scientists have created the world's most powerful indoor magnetic field, which exploded. So scientists at the University of Tokyo in April did this test. It wasn't published until September 17th, so we finally got the data and a YouTube video. They were expecting to produce a magnetic field of around 700 Teslas. The end result was actually around 1,200 Teslas. So the thing that was supposed to hold it in just couldn't anymore. And then if you watch this YouTube video right here, which isn't very long, boom goes the dynamite. It explodes twice. That's amazing. The scientists do say that even though that's what happens when they did 1,200 Teslas and it's a world record, they want to go for 1,500, which is another 25%. So, okay. Let's see how this goes. I'm very concerned that this is somehow going to open up interdimensional portholes and I don't know, giant floating heads are going to come through and tell us to show them what we got. I'm not looking forward to this reality. Show me what you got. The next article actually isn't something that's news. It's an editorial piece discussing AMD's place in the current market with the RTX lineup of cards. And even though there's not really news to talk about in this thing, I want to discuss this with you just as a general discussion point. I want to hear your feedback down in the comments below. So the topic of it is Nvidia's weakness is AMD's strength. It's time to regain mid-range users, discussing how it's the perfect opportunity with Nvidia pricing everything so high in the market for only super high-end users with features that only super high-end people actually want to use, the graphical fidelity, people who enjoy just the creaminess of visuals even though they don't like frame rate, those kinds of people. There's this huge gap in the $600 and under market that AMD could possibly resurge with if they launch new cards sometime soon, which ties into the information that we got earlier about the RX 680 potentially coming out sometime in October, even though I'm not completely sold on that rumor. It seems like if AMD just made a power play to give us somewhat like 1070 level performance from the $200 to $300 region, that they could absolutely sell like gangbusters and recover the market. However, while that would be good, and I think that's something that we all want, I also don't think that it's as likely of an opportunity as people are making it out to be, and this is where the discussion point comes in. if AMD releases, let's say, a $300 graphics card that performs as well as a 1070. What I see Nvidia doing is either rushing the launch of the 2060 and getting that out as soon as possible, or even potentially dropping the pricing on all of their cards to make it so that AMD doesn't even have the potential to do that. It obviously looks like Nvidia has tons of profit that they're taking from the RTX level cards, considering they're charging $1,200 for the 2080 Ti. There's enough room there for them to actually drop the price and still make profit. So I feel like even with the prices being super high, it looks like there's an opportunity in the market. But at the same time, I think Nvidia played this correctly, that if they need to, they can just drop the price, screw over everybody who actually purchased at the beginning, and then make it so that they still have a stranglehold on the market because they can compete on pricing, whereas AMD necessarily can't because of the fact that they haven't done well in GPUs at all, and they need every single cent that they can possibly take. And if they're charging $300 for a 1070 level card, then they're taking hits there, and they need that money. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you have other alternatives? Do you see AMD potentially having an opportunity here? I personally don't see AMD actually able to recover this. I think the best thing that they can do is bring out Navi and give us something that's actually good and like better than RX Vega 64, and then price it somewhere around the $300 to $400 region, and that would be great. I think that would be their strength, not in the lower mid-range, but in the higher mid-range. I want to hear from you guys though. Speaking of AMD though, let's talk about what's coming after Navi. So apparently in a Linux forum, one of the AMD employees who was discussing there talked about how Arcturus is the next code name for the GPUs that are coming after Navi. However, once he realized that he had leaked that information, he retracted his statement, but then once he realized that everybody had already screenshotted it, he reposted the statement, and Arcturus is actually one of the names. However, there is an update from AMD themselves saying that Arcturus is the first chip with this scheme that's coming out rather than the actual current family sequence syntax. So it doesn't necessarily look like it's going to be called Arcturus, but it does seem to indicate that AMD has something coming after Navi that they are planning for. So that's the news. There's not a whole lot here besides AMD's planning on releasing GPUs after Navi, which I guess is a good thing. RTX 2070 cards reviews supposedly going out on October 16th, according to video cards here. They got the dates right for the 2080 and 2080 Ti embargo list for the reviews. It looks like this is what we're expecting, October 16th for the 2070, which would be the day before, just like it was with the 2080 and 2080 Ti. So speaking of the 2080 and 2080 Ti, at launch, it appeared that some of their power consumption habits were a bit weird, considering that they were drawing a butt ton of power even at idle. Nvidia has released drivers as of today that supposedly fix that, and Tech Power Up went through the benchmark showing off. Does it actually fix it? And it shows that yes, at idle, the new drivers are actually drawing much less power than the old drivers, going down from 20 watts at idle to 13 watts. With Blu-ray playing, it went down from 25 watts down to 22 watts. But the curious thing is that multi-monitor and under load have actually gone up in wattage compared to the older drivers. So net win, I mean, I guess when your GPU is doing something, you expect it to draw more power anyways, so drawing a few extra watts isn't gonna be a big deal, but when you want it doing nothing and it's drawing more watts, that's a problem. I don't know. I don't really, like, 20 watts versus 13 doesn't really affect my daily life or the amount of money that I'm gonna spend. Obviously, it'd be much more over the course of the span of the entire GPU, so it's good that they're fixing it, but at the same time, it doesn't make my life any better, so. And then in the most depressing news that we have today, depressing because I really want good CPU competition, but it doesn't look like we're gonna be getting it from Intel anytime soon, as some of their partners are stating that the CPU shortage that we are expecting could last until mid-2019. So this is coming out of Compal Electronics, and the CEO is stating that he's expecting the Intel 14 nanometer CPU shortage to last until second half 2019. Compal, if you don't know, actually works with Apple, Acer, Lenovo, Dell, Toshiba, Hewlett-Packard, and Fujitsu, so they're not nobody. They actually have relationships in this business, and it appears that not only is Intel falling behind on producing 10 nanometers, they cannot even meet up with current demands. There was this article from Guru 3D yesterday talking about how Z390 is expected to launch on October October 8th, and the 8-core CPUs are supposed to launch 2 weeks later on the 19th or the 20th of October, which indicates that Intel is launching the CPUs after they launch the new chipsets, which makes no sense whatsoever. However, it does appear, according to this Reddit thread, that it's not necessarily a foundless rumor and that this is actually a potential possibility that they will be launching a brand new chipset designed for new CPUs without said CPUs because they are delayed. Why that's happening, why that matters, is it actually true? We'll have to wait and see. But these articles aren't very hopeful, and the fact that Compal CEO is expecting this to last until mid-2019 means that AMD has a butt ton of time to get ahead, considering that they're expecting to start shipping 7nm EPYC CPUs this year, 7nm Ryzen next year. By the time that Intel actually gets their production line sorted out is when AMD is going to be releasing their new chips. That's bad news bears for Intel, and that's good news bears for consumers, but I also want Intel to be successful here. So like, I want both companies to succeed. That's when great competition happens. Great competition doesn't happen when one company falters. I don't want Intel to fall behind. I want them to be neck and neck because then we have proper competition. So I'm not happy for this news, but at the same time, I am. And that's gonna wrap it up for all of the hot news that we have today. What do you think about Nvidia's positioning in the market with the power draw and all of the things that are going on with the RTX 2070? What do you think about DRAM prices dropping, or even, let's say, Arcturus maybe coming down sometime down the line? Let me know down in the comments below. I wanna hear from you, my friends. Anyways, hit the like button. If you enjoyed the video, please get subscribed. Much appreciated if you enjoyed it. And wanna stay up to date on all of our tech-related content. Don't forget, today's video is brought to you by UFD Deals. So if you're trying to save money on your next PC upgrade, purchase, whatever you want to do, check that out first because we try to make it so that it's easy for you. Anyways, I'm Brett with the UFD Tech Channel. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see your smiling faces again in the next video. Love you too.